inflation, the rate at which prices are rising, remained unchanged in January at 4%, despite a rise in energy bills. The figures from the Office for National Statistics show that prices are still going up, but at exactly the same rate as in December. The price of food, though, fell last month for the first time since September 2021. Our chief economics correspondent Darshini David reports.
Knots in the middle, contactless on top.
From food to shoe repairs, Warrington Market hosts a range of traders with one thing in common: surviving rather than thriving as costs rise.
Historically, sort of shoe repairs should sort of increase on times like this, really, but we're just not seeing it. I think largely down to sort of lack of footfall, really. People just haven't got the money.
Instead of buying a pound of cheese, they'll buy 3/4 of a pound of cheese, which is fine, but I'd rather have the pound of cheese.
For their customers are struggling, and not just because of a hike in energy bills in January.
Mortgages, bills, food, everything's getting more expensive. Just struggling.
Some things are coming down, but on a general basis it's not really coming down enough.
Potentially have to cut my maternity leave early just to be able to go back to work so I can put him in nursery to be able to afford things.
For many things are still getting more expensive.
Well, inflation overall stayed at 4% in January, and that was a relief for policymakers who were concerned those energy bills would have pushed it up. But those were offset by heavy discounting in clothes and furniture as retailers slashed prices after some disappointing sales in the run-up to Christmas. And food prices too slipped between December and January, the first such fall in 2 years as ingredients became cheaper. And inflation overall should fall below the Bank of England's 2% target later in the spring when the energy price cap falls back. But it's other parts of inflation that those interest rate setters watch more closely. Those for services such as restaurant meals and hotel stays. That rose in January, while wage growth, which the bank also watches, is easing quite slowly. So they don't want to risk reigniting inflation by cutting rates too soon, leaving more cash in pockets for us to spend.
But the bank's also aware the economy isn't blooming. Back in Warrington, florist Elizabeth says customers have been finding creative solutions to afford Valentine's Day treats.
Red roses were the best sellers and lily bouquets, but the tulip bouquet is the most popular so far this year, and they're half the price of what the roses are and lilies.
For some of those customers, the ultimate delivery would be lower interest rates. They may have to wait until the summer.
Darshini is with me now, and we're going to get a clearer picture of the state of the economy tomorrow.
Indeed, many of us are familiar with that pain of inflation and indeed of those higher interest rates designed to bring down inflation. Tomorrow we get the growth figures for the end of 2023, which will show how that's affected the economy as a whole. It may have shrunk as a result of that hit to consumer spending, so risking a mild recession and blighting the government's claim to grow the economy. We'll find out in the morning, and we'll leave the analysts to pore over the exact decimal points, because the big picture is this: our growth on average is a fraction of what it used to be prior to the financial crisis. So theoretically, we've foregone thousands of pounds each. So the big question for politicians in this all-important year is, how do you turbo boost prosperity, and how do you do it fast?
Darshini, thank you.